And tonight I got a special guest on, and we're going to talk about how you can do it, whether you're old, whether you're young. And so this is something that we're going to talk about. I have Nathan on here. He's always on here. He's always watching the show, and he's always commenting on here. So I might not have as many comments this week because he's always pushing the comments and stuff like that. And so this is something we are going to talk about, and we're going to do that. So this weekend I was pretty busy, and so actually I had to go to a horse show this weekend for my daughter. And on the way up there, I got to read a great book. And this is a book that I am going to recommend this week, and I highly, highly recommend you read this book. This book is one that toward the end of the chapters was I'm like, I have to read this book again. And not only read it, but I might actually have to get the book and read it because it had such good information in it. And so this week's book of the week is going to be your next 5 moves. Your next 5 moves. It's a great book. I highly, highly recommend this book. It's a great listen. Patrick Bet-David does a great job in this book. And so I highly recommend this book. This is the book that you should definitely go out and read and get this book. It's audio book. It's like $15 and it's 100%. You should get this book. A great, great, great book. I highly recommend that book. And then the next thing I've said I was going to start changing things up here. And so the next one is I'm going to talk a little bit about Jill's office. If you can't,
thank you. I want to know a little more about that.
Good. See, that always works out. So Jill's office is something that you can use, so that way you can make sure that you are answering your phone, right? They are a phone answering service. And so if you go to kingofpressurewash.resources, it's down on the page. And so this is something that is the number one problem with pressure washers is we don't answer our phones. And if you can't answer the phone, you need to pay somebody to answer the phone. This is a service that will work with Responsibid. It will work with Jobber, and I think House Call Pro, and they will actually put their information in. You can have them do as much or as little as you want. You can also have them do stuff as in if you don't answer it after 2 rings, then it goes to them. So that way you can do it. Also, it's a good resource that if you want to answer the phone late at night, 8, 9 o'clock, this is a resource that they will answer your phone there. And so this is something that, if you're not answering your phone, I highly recommend that you look at Jill's office. So before we get started here, we got some people in here. We got Sean. He said he's a giant. Who? Me?
Yeah,
or
he is.
Me or Ethan over here? We got Soft H2O. Hello, folks from Florida. I'll take some warm weather. We're sitting in about 2 inches or 3 inches of snow right now. Go Dallas. Nice dash. So we got Pink Robin. We got 70 likes. Pink Robin. So one thing that this is a person that I usually talk a lot about, and this is Nathan. Nathan is a young gentleman that we'll talk more, but he actually came to one of my first classes down in, well, it wasn't one of my first classes, but actually it probably was closer to one of my first classes down in Alabama when Cody and I did a class down there. And that is kind of where he started. And then he actually did a Christmas-like class this year with me. And so that is where he has started. He actually doesn't live too far from me. He lives in the middle of nowhere called Cynthiana, Kentucky, literally in the middle of nowhere. But he actually, I didn't skip. I'll have to come back here. What up, Big Rob? Sorry, I did skip you, man. And we got U.S. Contractor, Cincinnati guy here.
I see him on the group.
Yep. So we got Nathan here is from Cynthiana, and so he literally lives in the middle of nowhere, but he lives about 45 minutes from Lexington, and that's his service area. And so if he tried to work in Cynthiana, he'd be broke. But
Be broke.
so
Like
so Nathan, tell us a little bit more about who you are and where you're from and all of that good stuff.
So 22 years old. I started my business when I was technically 19. I got out of the military, had a SEAL contract to be a Navy SEAL, trained for that for a long time. Took a long time to get in there. When I got in there, told me I couldn't do it for medical reasons, and I got kicked out. So I was sitting at the house trying to figure out what to do. My dad worked at Toyota for 30 years and wanted me to go there. And in the military, I realized how much I don't like being told what to do. So I started looking up YouTube videos on what to do and seen Jason's videos a couple of times. And yeah, they were a little cringy back then, but found Cody from Southeast Softwash, started watching his videos. And the only reason I went to his training was because Jason came. And I realized that he was close, and I wanted to get to know Jason. So I started that business probably June 2020, right after COVID hit. So
one thing so this year, I haven't told many people about this, but one of my goals was to help mentor a young person. And so Nathan has kind of became that person. He kind of, when he came to my class in July to do pressure washing or to Christmas lights, he's been messaging me in a bunch, and I've just mentored him through a lot of his questions, and not so much just me answering his questions, but me asking him questions, right? Because if I gave him all the answers, or if I give any of you all the answers, you won't learn nothing. And so a lot of it was I would ask him questions, and the thing that I love about Nathan is he's an action taker, right? So Nathan would give me his numbers, and I'd say, all right, break that down. And then about 20, 30 minutes, maybe the next day, he'd have it all broke down for me. And so this is the thing that helps keep people moving forward, right? Of taking action and doing this stuff. So let's start off being young. How have you started to grow your pressure washing being a young guy at 22 or even 19 when you first started? What were some of the hassles you've had to overcome?
Well, I had a little trouble. I never thought of myself having trouble when I was young. Being young, like I wasn't afraid because I was young. I was more afraid to charge a lot because you can tell me how much to charge on some things, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know. And then you got a customer in front of you, and you need to charge $1,000 for something, and you just can't do it. Like, I wouldn't pay that. I would not pay that. I had a lot of trouble with that in the beginning, and still to this day, sometimes, I'm like, am I really going to charge 10 grand to do lights on this one house? Like, who's going to pay that? And then they do. And then I'm like, okay, then I don't have to worry about that anymore. So that was one thing, I guess.
So one thing that I know you did when you first started, and I like it, you just didn't come to my training and that was it. You've learned from other people, and I know you are a big fan of someone. Who are you a big fan of, and you've learned a lot from that person?
Uncle G, Grant Cardone.
And what all have you done with him? I mean, what are some things that you've learned from Uncle G?
So I started listening to him for real estate stuff because I don't know. I just had a big interest in real estate. And then I started watching his sales training because you can't get no business if you can't sell people. I hate talking to people. I hate it. And I started taking his sales training classes. I was reading his books. I did the 10X boot camp. That was probably the best one, the 10X boot camp. 3 days long. Goes through marketing and sales and how to scale a business. That's like a big one. And then I like his books. It's not like, it doesn't sound like you're listening to a book. It sounds like he's talking to you, which is kind of like how I like it. And he's always got great points on sales.
So what are some things that you've learned through Uncle G that has helped you sell better?
Man, where do I start? There's just so much, like specific phrases to use, how to, here's one thing, price objections. it's like almost never, like when people object to you, it's almost never about price. It's maybe like 10% price. Every time else, it's some other excuse. I got to talk to the wife. It's never about the wife. It's never about the money. It's I don't like it, it's in their head. They don't like something that you had given them, whether it was how you presented it or you didn't quite meet their expectations in the quote or something like that.
Yeah.
So like
And being young, that's probably something that they like to hammer on of, well, you must not know what you're talking about or you're just whatever, right? You can't be giving me a $2,000 bid because you're too young to be able to do that. And so these are things that we have to overcome. And, this is why a lot of times I always didn't say I was the business owner. Sometimes they don't need to know who the business owner is, right? I'm just the salesman or I'm just the person that does this. And so these are things that we can use for our advantages to that we can help that. So, what are some things that you would tell other young people about trying to start a pressure washing business?
well, does it have to do with sales or
Just pressure washing business, and I mean, should we go buy a $50,000 rig, $20,000, $30,000 rig right out of the get go? What are some things that we need to do to be able to get our business off the ground?
you got to get your brand and your business in the minds of other people. The truck and trailer sitting outside doesn't make you money. You got to put money into marketing, and putting money into marketing is so general. They're like, oh, you just got to market. You just got to market. No one teaches you how to market. You gotta learn how to market, and that's doing yard signs. Yard signs was a really good way off the start. I'll tell you a little story. When I had my rig sitting in my driveway for I don't know, like 2 months, and I bought bleach, and it sat outside in the hot sun for 2 months, and I never did a job. Put 10 yard signs out, got like one phone call. My first job was like $350. I get out there and I'm starting to spray and it's just not cleaning. And I'm thinking in my head, is this whole business a scam? Like like I spray this house and nothing's coming clean. Like I'm going straight bleach on the thing and it's just not cleaning. And then I finally figured out that it was the bad bleach. But I only put 10 yard signs out and I only got one phone call. And I was like, well, I guess yard signs just don't work. They just yard signs don't work. And I passed out flyers and business cards. Didn't pass out very many, maybe less than 100. Didn't get no business. And then I started putting out 50 every Friday. And then I was starting to get more and more calls. And, yard signs is a big one for me. So
Yard sign has brought in a lot of work for you, hasn't it?
Yeah. Google ads are cool, but they're expensive. You kind of have to have them set up right if you don't know what you're doing. And don't let Google mess with them. They'll take your money. They will call you and call you and call you. Like, hey, this is your Google Ads representative from South Carolina. And they'll mess your Google Ads up. So don't listen to them. Facebook, I've always posted on Facebook. Haven't had much luck with them. And then it's really marketing with yard signs. That's been the best one for me. At least for pressure washing. Now, when it comes to Christmas lights, I got this chick who does really good Facebook. She got me pretty much all my clients from Facebook.
Nice.
Facebook ads.
Jeremy asked a question here. Do you like Jocko? I like Jocko, and I like all his
books.
It's
pretty cool.
And he's got some good leadership books and taking action, and it's don't blame everybody else's fault. And a lot of times I think this is something that a lot of young people like to do, a lot of old people like to do, is blame everybody else why they can't grow their business. And so a lot of it is I can't grow my business because I live out in the middle. I live here and there's not enough. You can't get that in my area. You just don't understand. We can make excuses all day long. Like I say, Nathan can make an excuse all day long if he sat right in Cynthiana, which is an hour, 45 minutes to an hour out of where his honey holes are, and sit there and say, yep, I can't make no money. You just can't charge that here. Because that's not where his customer is, right? That's not where his customers are. His customers you probably have done less than 5 jobs in Cynthiana because that's not where his thing. And I guarantee you probably didn't even do no Christmas lights in Cynthiana, right? Because that's not where you're
If
at.
you don't count my parents' house.
Exactly. So this is what I'm saying is you have to take action. You have to sit there and you might have to drive an hour to get to your service area. But you know what? That's not, you can't sit there and say, well, the world's against me and I just can't do this. No, you can do it. You just have to maybe have to work a little bit harder. Or you might need to move closer to the city and not live out in the middle of anywhere. I mean, the city of Cynthiana, the only thing that's famous there, what can you tell me the only thing that's famous in Cynthiana?
There's a mural on a wall on a building that has what's it called? Walking Dead on it.
The
That's
Walking
about
Dead.
it.
That's about the only thing that is known for Cynthiana is the Walking Dead. They filmed the thing there of the Walking Dead one time, and now they got a big mural on the wall, and that's basically the only thing out of Cynthiana that's there. And so you can sit there and come up with excuses all day long, but all excuses do is just doesn't do anybody any good. So this is what I love about having young people be able to take action. And so this year you hit a pretty big milestone. What was your goal at the beginning of 2022 before you started this year?
So at 2022, I wanted to do 100K in pressure washing. I came pretty close. I was like 80 something in washing. And then I was trying to figure out, I was like, I got to do a lot of gutter cleaning to get the rest of that 100K. So then I decided to do Christmas lights because Jason had been telling me for a long time to do Christmas lights. And once I took his class and I actually took it seriously on like I was going to do Christmas lights, I decided on a goal of 75K just based on average prices, average ticket prices. So he kept saying shoot for 1,500 to 2,000 average ticket. And that was only like 30 jobs. I'm like, shoot, I could get 30 jobs. I could get 30 people to pay me $2,000. That's no problem. And I got 41 people to give me $2,100. So it took a little bit. That was a lot of work. A lot more work. It is a lot more work than you might think. And that's, I'd say there's 10% work of actually putting the lights on the houses and then putting lights together, organizing all the trash. You know, it's a lot.
It is a lot, but it was a lot of fun too, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was pretty fun. It was like one of my biggest jobs. It was like $4,500. I had a helper too, so you definitely got to have a helper. He did the fence while I did the house. I got it done in like an hour. I got done with the whole roof, and he got done with 300 feet of fence. And I'm like, did we just get done with this whole house in an hour? It's crazy.
Pickle Donkey asks, did you have any dissatisfied or angry clients, and how did you deal with them? Did they ever try to make your business look bad?
Yeah, you're going to have some. I had, first customer, I'll leave this part out. This lady chewed me down so much. So this lady has a 7,000 square foot house. You know where Key Manor is?
I've heard of it.
It's right across from Southland and Harrodsburg Road. Huge houses, like mansions. And on the right side, I was like, man, I just got a lead in here. I got to close this job. And I went back and forth with her. She didn't speak English very well, so it was a little difficult. But I did a $2,000 job for like $1,200. And she just gave me all types of trouble. Like, so you're going to do this for me too? And I just kept saying, yeah, like an idiot. Like I wouldn't have learned to say like yes to things after like 2 years of customers like this. But she was a pain in the butt. I had one with lights who just wasn't, I don't know, he wasn't happy. You just got to be nice to him. Don't express your feelings towards them, like angry feelings, I should say. I I don't know how many times where I would get a paragraph of text and then delete it. I'm like, this is so stupid. It's gonna ruin it. I gotta delete this. So
That's hard. That's some self-control right there, because that can be hard sometimes.
That's my mom helping me out there. Like, I'll complain to her about this. I'm like, what the heck do I say to this person? She goes, relax, don't say anything stupid, and try to work it out. Just try to work it out if you can. If you have problems, which you will have problems with people.
Big Rob asked, do you have employees?
I had a helper for Christmas lights, but I'm looking to hire at least one employee for washing this year.
All right, let's talk a little bit about numbers, if you don't mind. You don't have to, but I'd like to.
I don't care.
So what was your average ticket for pressure washing?
You know what? I don't actually know that for pressure washing. I just know my Christmas lights. So if we did 80, if I'm just guessing, which guessing could be wrong, I'd say about $600.
So $600. And how many jobs on average did you do per week?
Well, roller coaster. So sometimes I would try to shoot for 2 or 3 a day, at 3 at the most, or
Gotcha.
one big roof clean and a driveway.
And
I didn't like doing a whole lot of work. I hate driving around. I got to drive a lot.
right. And one of the things that I like that you figured out, how much does it cost you per day to go out to wash?
So for washing, it's about $200.
So it cost you $200 just to start your truck to go wash.
If I had known that, I would have pushed a little bit harder,
right?
For getting more jobs.
And so with that, so it cost you $200 just to go out for the day, and that's counting marketing, that's counting gas, that's counting insurances, that's counting all your business expenses divided into that, correct?
Yep. My expenses divided by 9 months.
Divided by 9 months, because that's all we can really work up here. And actually, it might not even be 9 months, is it?
It's probably less than that, honestly.
Because this year we actually
that means expense up the less time you got.
Right. This year we actually didn't get to start. I don't think DJ got almost started till the end of or the beginning of April, because he lost most of March.
I did okay. I think I started like beginning of March.
Did you? Okay, so then you're close to 8, 9.
Y'all always get more snow than we do.
Yeah.
You like just north.
Yeah. And so this is something that a lot of people. Okay, so Chris asked, do you have a CRM?
I sure do. It's Jobber. So here's the thing about Jobber. I like Jobber because I'm used to it, but I also like the idea of Responsibid, but I don't want to switch, I got to relearn that one. And I also don't want to use both at the same time. I know some people do that.
Well, Responsibid isn't a CRM, so you have to use a CRM with Responsibid.
Gotcha.
So you can't just use Responsibid with nothing else, because it needs a CRM to work with, because it don't do invoicing, and that's the problem with it. But Jobber doesn't do follow-ups, so that's the problem there.
It does, but they're crap.
Yeah.
You have one type of follow-up, and that's it.
Yeah, and then you can change it, but then you actually got to go in and manually change it, and then it'll do that.
Yeah, you can't have like custom ones.
Right.
Now you can, like when you're sending the quote with the text message or email, you can change it every time for how you want. But that's like you got to do it for every single one.
So Chris is asking a hard question here, and this is a good question. So if you didn't know, Chris and I are actually going to be doing a class at his shop. You can go to kpwtrain.com and you'll see the dates there. And so Chris is really good on sales. He did about 500,000-600,000. And so go check that out. That one is in the March one. I'm also having one in February down in Florida, and that will only be a 1-day class. And I'm having that class with Andrew and Savannah, who did right at 600,000 or 700,000 also. So that's who that is there. But this question is what was your net profit for 2022?
79,000.
Okay, but in reality, it really wasn't 79,000 because you have to pay yourself. You had to pay all the positions how, if you think, and I know you don't know this because it's kind of hard to know it, but if you think you had to know, how much would you think that you would have to pay somebody to be able to do that 150 again?
So I'm only going to base this on percentages based on other people's companies. I would have to say it's probably 40,000 for employees because that puts you probably around that 20 to 30% profit range,
Right.
which seems about right, I'd say.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know because I don't have employees yet.
So you did 79,000. How are we getting away with putting some of that money so we don't get taxed on that much?
So I haven't touched much of that money right now. I've already paid forward every quarter taxes ahead of time. So I'm looking around 8 to 10,000 in tax based on what my CPA told me.
And so some things that you could do too to defer that, which it'll take some money, it'll defer it, is putting some of that into an IRA or your IRA, or you can do a SEP IRA also. So then that way the government don't get it all that money. So just some things to think about.
Yeah. I got a good CPA. He's going to help me out with all that.
Good. On the off season, can you pause your insurance policy? Probably not. You might be able to, but that's so. H2O
charges.
H2O is my forklift driver, and he hasn't been on here in a while. What is your end goal with pressure washing Christmas light business? That is a great question right there.
End goal, like the 5-year goal, or what do I want to do with it? I think I want to.
What do you want to do?
Eventually sell it.
So your
I don't want to be doing this the rest of my life. That's for sure.
So your end goal is to sell it, but you kind of got some goals before to get there, correct?
Yeah, I got at least $1 million before I even think about selling it.
And you're kind of looking to do more like buying real estate and stuff like that, and kind of growing that also.
Any extra money is going towards real estate, hands down.
Nice. Where in Florida? I'm leaving for Florida this week. It will be in Orlando. It's right out in Kissimmee. It'll be right outside of Orlando is where it will be at. Let's see. So that's a good question there. So how much? I'm gonna come back to this. How much cost to build your website, and what service did you use? Yeah, that's a good question. How much cost to build your website, and what service did you use? And I'd rather you not mention a name if you don't mind.
Okay, $199 a month.
And are you satisfied with that person?
Hell no. I'm so ready to get rid of them. It's like every time I get on the phone with them, it's like that one salesperson that you go at the car dealership that you just hate. Every word that comes out of their mouth, you just hate, despise. You feel like they're lying to you every 24/7.
Now, why was it? I'm gonna poke a little bit. What made you go with that service?
The big three. They were, you're gonna get so much business. I fell for the trap, just like 4,000 other customers have. I used my negotiating tactics to figure out how much they're making, and how I had complained to them. I was like, so how many other websites do y'all manage? Well, about 4,000. So let me do some quick math here. It was like they're making $400,000 a month off of websites that they ain't doing jack to. So I said, you're making $400,000 a month, and you can't take the time to call me or update me at least once a month. And like, well, we just hired 2 more salespeople to help manage these websites, and it was just like one thing after another, I'm like,
Andrew Jenkins, he was actually in the class you were down there with us.
Really?
Yeah, and he put not the 3.
Yeah, they used to not be that way.
No, so Andrew, I believe, is out of Atlanta. Is who he is out of Atlanta. So is where he's at. But
and it's popping off.
Yeah. So what are some things, if you was a young person starting over, what are some things that you would have what was some things that you would either change or that you would do differently?
Well, I would immediately probably get sales training because that increases your confidence. Because if you don't know and have the confidence about talking about something or selling, you're not going to be able to sell. You can sell a lot easier when you know exactly how to do something, right? How many times can you talk about something when you know exactly what you're talking about? Like instead of like, oh, well, we could get to do this pressure washing job for about 350, and then nothing happens.
Now,
Yeah,
that's a good point because you're not confident in your sales, right? At that point, if you're not confident in your price and you don't believe in the price, they're not going to believe into it, right?
yeah.
That's just a guarantee. If you don't believe that you're worth $300-400 an hour, they don't believe that you're worth $300-400 an hour. And the other thing that I've seen a lot of people mess this up too, and a lot of people try to sell pressure washing. Are we selling pressure washing or what are we selling? It's kind of like, are we selling Christmas lights or what are we selling at the end of the day?
Yeah, we gotta sell some time, man. It's all about time. Time, and I don't want it. They're calling you because they don't want to do it or can't do it.
Right. And a lot of times they'll tell you, right? If you shut up and listen, they'll tell you what they want you to, what to sell you at.
A lot of times, I'll get on the phone and I already know they're going in their 5 minute long conversation. I'm just waiting for them to be taught. I don't say a word, and then I'll be like, "Okay, that sounds great. I'll work on a quote and shoot it over to you. You just pick the options that you want, hit the check mark, and once you get hit, once I see that approve button, we'll give you a call back and get you on the schedule." And then it goes from there.
Yep,
They
for
just
sure.
talk and talk and talk. They do tell you what you want, what they want.
So we actually got 103 people on here now. So hit the
It's
like
popular.
button. I don't know. YouTube must really like Nathan on person, so that's a cool thing. 90% of websites are junk. It's all about how many they can get signed up so they can make more commission. That's a fact. And in fact,
Yep.
Nathan has done $150,000 worth. And how much do you think you made off of your website for that part of that?
Well, so anything coming from a website is technically probably coming from my Google Ads. So I
Or
would
your
say zero from my website and maybe 5 grand from Google Ads.
Yep. What's up, Nathan from Kentucky Wash Pros?
Jeremy Messer.
Um, just joined your chat. Can you recommend a CRM app? Thanks. So there's all kinds of different CRMs. It depends on what you want, right? There's no one meet all beat all that is the best CRM out there. Even I know you can go Service Titan. You can pay $750 a month for certain Service Titan, and they still suck at things. You can pay $300 a month for Jobber, and they don't have the best follow up. You can pay $40 and they kind of suck too. So it depends on your budget. If you don't have much of a budget, you can do something like Marquette. You can do something like Customer Factor that looks like it was built in the 1990s. You can use free ones out there. There is a free one. Yard Books is free. You can use QuickBooks. QuickBooks is one that I know people that use QuickBooks because they're just using it as an invoice and that's all they need. And the good thing about QuickBooks is then it can track all of your business expenses. You can tie a credit card to it, and then that way it just makes life a lot easier. Your CPA can get onto the backside of it and do it there. So those are some things that you can do for a CRM. But the thing that I will tell most people is don't let one thing hold you down or keep you from moving forward. A lot of times,
Yes.
do what now?
Yes. You will get stuck on the one thing, analysis paralysis, trying to figure out how to do one thing, and your whole business just stops. You stop worrying about other stuff.
What was that one thing in your business that took you a month to get over to figure out just move on with it? I don't know. I'm just asking.
I don't know. I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's little things. We'll just say little things. Things that don't matter a week from now.
Yep, exactly. What's up, TC? When are you going to be in Kissimmee, Florida, Jason? It is February the 10th and 11th, I think. So I'm actually going to be there for Christmas Light Con. You can go to christmaslightcon.com or you can go to clctraining.com, and that's going to be the Christmas light training. It's like a convention for that. Or I'm also having a pressure washing training on that Sunday. And if you buy I actually have a deal in one of my package deals because, right, I'm going to practice what I preach. I'm going to do a package deal. And so one of the package deals gets you the pressure washing training and all of the Gutter Con and Christmas Light Con. Let's see. Got a big job in the morning, $1,250 ticket. What was your biggest ticket for pressure washing, Nathan?
It would have to be that commercial job I did. I cleaned a roof for a school down in Danville, I think it was. It was like $6,500. Could have been more, but I was, competing with the three other bidders. You know how that goes.
Yep, I do.
The residential, I think I was at 3,000, and that was my favorite customer, who's also a Christmas light customer, and my realtor. He's got a big old house, and he gives me continuous work. I like that guy.
Gotcha. So, Jan asked, what are your goals for new business this year? Like last year, so my goal is still to do 1,000 people up to $100,000. I'm going to start tracking that here shortly. I've got a lot of other stuff that I've had to do. I've had a lot of people do AdWords. So I haven't been able to do it. And then on my board behind here, I got a whole kinds of stuff that I'm looking to do and to change. Andrew put, Jason still due to come to Atlanta for some gas station training. You're right, I am. We need to make that happen. Sorry I'm late. Enjoying the Bengals win. Sweet, who dey? Do you watch football, Nathan?
I don't watch sports.
I didn't figure you did. I don't either. Glad to hear about that book. We love your Kentucky Wash family. Cardinal Pro Soft Wash. Joyce is also free. That's a free one too that you can do. All right. So what are some things that, what were some of the best marketing? I know we talked about yard signs, but how did you do the yard signs? Did you just put 10 out, or did you have a thing of trying to make the yard sign stick out there so everybody knew who you was?
So I pretty much squashed the competition when it came to yard signs, at least in Lexington. I literally choked them out. I put so many yard signs out. Consistently is really the key. And like others wouldn't show up. I would try to go for 50 every Friday. Every Friday night, all my friends would be like, "Hey, you want to play something? You want to go do something?" I'm like, "Nah, dude, I'm doing yard signs."
I know Mike listens to Mike from Inman Pro Wash. He was saying, "Man, I've seen your signs all over the place."
That is literally the phone call. "Hey, I see your signs everywhere. Can you give me a quote on pressure washing?" I'm like, "I sure can."
This is a good question, and I'm actually going to hit on some more of this here in my mentorship or in my membership. I've actually hit on this quite a bit. But did you get much referrals or a program that did well with that? Are you asking for referrals, and are you asking for your reviews, and how are you doing that?
So I've definitely been pushing my reviews. I've had probably 30 that didn't go through. And I've been listening to Mindsol and trying to get that taken care of. And referrals, not so much, but that's something I really want to push this year, is get a referral program going on. I kind of did that a little bit with Christmas lights. I mean, there was one neighborhood that I did 6 houses for Christmas lights. And Christmas lights a little easier to get referrals, I would say, than pressure washing. I guess it depends on the area, really.
Yeah, I think it is too. Well, it depends on, like you say, it depends on the area and how you're dealing with that. So
yeah,
for sure. But here's a card. I actually made one of these for.
That's what I want.
I made this. That. I've actually got some Canva templates that I have. And I actually made teaks, and you can print them out. And I'm sure I could have printed them out cheaper somewhere, but for 100 of them, it was like $60 on thick paper on shiny gloss. So that way, I did the Google. I didn't do Facebook because Facebook is stupid, and when you hit that QR code, it takes it to the it don't take you to the app. It takes you where you have to sign in, and I know nobody's going to sign in to do that. So I actually did Yelp, and I know Yelp ain't a big one, but Yelp helps our Google a lot of times. So that's why I did that one. And then I did 2 services instead of 3. So I changed the card up, changed the color of it. And so I actually have a template of it. It will be, right now it's in the mentorship. So I'm actually opening up the mentorship if anybody wants to get into the mentorship. So the membership is like $99 a month. You get free website with that. But the mentorship is you get time with Jason. You get... I do a volley so we can sit there and talk back and forth. There's going to be a group of about 12. We're at 6 or 7 right now, so I only have 5 spots open. And so if you want to go check that out, you can go to, let me figure out where that one is. You can go to, I think it's this one right here. That one ain't it. Shoot. It is this one here, King of Pressure Wash / mentorship. And again, this is where I help you build your business. I've helped several out of that group do over 100,000 their very first year. It isn't for the very beginners. It's not for that. But you do get time with me. I do a 1-hour Zoom call with you every other month, because I'm going to split it up between that, and there's a Thursday morning call. So that's what's included in the mentorship. But that is what that is. So going back to marketing, you did the yard signs, and you did 50 yards. You say 25 or 50 is what you
about 50. Sometimes I would do more, sometimes I would do less. And I'll tell you one thing with the yard signs. I was out in Winchester putting yard signs out, and I was thinking, man, I need to be doing 25 in every city every Friday. And I did the math, and I need like 250 signs a week. And I'm like, I cannot do that myself. So I got to hire somebody to do my signs for me.
Yep.
And it's funny because everything I'm learning here, I got to duplicate in my other business that I'm starting with a friend. And I know the shortcuts, Like I already know how to get the business going. So
and that's cool. The thing too, right? Yard signs is a king when it comes to that. But, the other thing is getting our 5-star reviews, getting all of that, because then that also starts growing the other things along the line. If you're not allowed to do yard signs, then you got to do a lot of networking, or you got to go meet and greet people, right? Sitting at home, sitting on your couch, not doing anything is not going to get work. I mean,
it's scary. I'll tell you what, it's scary to get up and go talk to people. I hate doing it, but usually when I do it, I make the most money doing it.
So let's talk about that. How do you overcome that, them butterflies in your stomach and make you want to puke and you're ready to go puke? How do you overcome that stuff?
Well, sometimes I don't really have a way, I've kind of did it and did it over and over again. It still gets me nervous sometimes, but like as soon as you start getting nervous, you just got to go straight for it. You don't let it sit. Don't let yourself sit. Just go for it and figure out commit now and figure the rest out later. Right.
Well, and that goes back to taking action, right? You start taking action. Guess what? You'll start being able to do this, right? You'll be able to go talk to that person. But Nathan, what if they tell me no?
Well, you're relying on one person. So if you're only shooting for one appointment a day, you need to have 10 a day at least, so that if you lose the one, they say no, great, now you got 9 others to go close. Instead of having that one, you got to rely on that person saying yes. But if you got 10 others, that one person saying no ain't a big deal. Either get good at sales or increase your funnel.
Yep. Are you using full-size yard signs? Yes. Moneybushes.com. Big ones. What are you putting? House washing, concrete cleaning, everything on it, or what are you putting on it?
pressure washing and roof. I have another one for roof cleaning. Man, I seen one. I had a video on Snapchat. I sent to my friends. It was big and yellow. The words were that this big. It had like every type of material. Said fully vaccinated. Facebook, house, driveway. It's just like you couldn't see anything unless you were right up on it. It was hilarious.
Yeah, and you can go to moneybushes.com, which will take you to UZ Marketing.
Yeah.
So one other thing here before we, I'm going to ask some other questions here, but I want to hit a couple other things here real quick. If you want to know when I go live, you can text King, and then you're going to see how the follow-up is for that, which is pretty cool. You can text 859-696-1101, and you will be able to know when I go live, and you will get a text message when I go live. What's the best way to come up with a pressure washing name?
It's a tough one.
This is one that can hold people back a long time. Just pick one. It's probably not going to be the right one. Just pick it, right? You can change it later, but just pick it and go with it. And then usually the next question that comes right after that is what about my logo? Has your logo gotten you any? Has your logo gotten you any business yet, or your name pressure washing, Nathan?
Not that I know of. I wish I didn't have soft wash, to be honest, because that would have helped me big time in ranking on Google.
So, and so that is a key, right? Something with pressure washing in it. And I would maybe even name the pressure washing or the city that you're trying to rank for in there also, because as of right now, Google still does allow that to happen to do that. If you look up pressure washing, you don't see a lot of soft wash companies coming up. You'll see pressure washing companies come up. So
you'll see the soft wash ones, but they're at the bottom.
Yep.
I rank like number 20 in Lexington for pressure washing.
Do not use my name or try to change it. My name is copyrighted protected. I love the text notification. So see, he texts King, and that way he knows when I go live. And I think there's about 85 of you that have signed up for it so far. So I wish I used pressure washing in the name instead of power blasters. Do you use QR codes to get your Google reviews, like on a thank you card at the end of the job?
So here's how I've been doing it lately, because it helps with SEO, and that's how I got this is how I got my Christmas light ranking. So this is from Mindsol. I would ask the customer if they had their phone, and I would have them search pressure washing near me or a certain keyword near me. So if you go to Google and look up bluegrass soft wash, the link is like this long, right? This long. If they do near me, then it's got their GPS coordinates attached to that link. Then they find my business, and then like scroll through and find my business, and then hit the review. It's that review is embedded with that link, so it's got the GPS attached to it. That's helped a lot.
And do you help them find your company when you do that then? So that if they type in pressure washing near me, then scroll it down if they need help? Yeah.
I try to do it right there with them.
All right. So I always like asking this question because this is a good question. And I know that you've read a lot of books. Or do you read books or listen to books?
Listen. I like listening to them.
So what has been one of your favorite books so far that has had the biggest change of either mindset or for you to keep growing?
For mindset, it would definitely be obsessed or be average from Cardone. All my books are really going to be from Cardone. I need to expand my palette. So be obsessed or be average is really good for changing your mindset on how you think things. Sell or Be Sold is really good for sales. The Closer's Survival Guide. That one's really good because it gives you closes and how to close people, because you can sell and sell and sell, but if you can't close the job, it doesn't matter. and at some point you have to switch from sales to closing. Those three are really good. I like some of Jocko's books for leadership. I can't remember the names of them. And I do watch a lot of YouTube for like podcasts from billionaires and high business owners and listening to their advice and stuff. I also try to go to classes and stuff.
And that helps you out. One thing I want to ask this here too, and this is important. Do you have the support from your mom and dad in growing this business?
I do. I know I have that good. I know a lot of people that don't. It seems like most people don't have that. They don't have support in their life, and they get doubt and things like that. And now I have doubt and naysayers sometimes, but overall, I have a pretty positive environment.
When you first started, was that the case also, or has it kind of
Yeah,
grown?
I mean, they didn't expect me to do this well. My dad was blown away with the Christmas lights. How well I did with that, because I honestly I did way better with the Christmas lights than I did the washing. I don't know what it is. I just nailed it. Um,
So, what is your
but
goal for 2023?
500K. That's 250 in washing and 250 lights. Now, to get to 250, if I keep all my current customers, I only need 74 more customers to get to that if I only do residential.
Right.
Now, I'm going after commercial this year for washing and lights because I need them big tickets.
Nice. So 500,000, and you did 155,000 this year, correct?
Mm-hmm. It's 3x what I did the year before.
So what's going to be your number one marketing goal for this year to try to get to there?
I'm gonna try to go for Google Ads and networking, because I was telling them I joined an apartment association, and you gotta get in with the big players in town because they're the ones with all the money.
Because your net worth is what?
Your network, your network is your net worth.
Yeah, I got that one wrong. Sorry, but yes, you're right. Your net worth is your net worth, right? The more people you know, the better off you are.
Let me ask you this: what's better, you know people or people know you?
People know you.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to get people to know me.
So before we got about 5 minutes, what questions do you got for me?
Well, with the Jill's office, would it be using my actual phone number? How does it work?
So a lot of times it is it they will either have a phone number that it will call, or depending on what service you have, so that way it can ring to them also, is what that'll work. If you're just using your phone, like if you don't have a business phone, then they'll probably have to have another phone number at that point.
Okay, because I'm thinking, because with the other business with me and Hunter, neither of us can answer the phone. So I got to have some kind of answering service. And if I'm putting out signs and putting a phone number on all my social media pages, what number does that have to be? I gotta
Well,
have
and
that
some of
ahead
that
of
is you would want to track. I would probably start trying to track more. So the yard signs might have a different phone number, but if you do a tracking number, a lot of times, then they can get that number to go through there. And same way, even with social media. Now, obviously, your website needs to be whatever's on your Google My Business, but then that way you can start tracking some of that stuff. So that way we know, hey, this came in from this or this came in from there.
right. Okay.
And as we grow and scale, it's more important that we track. So then that way we know where our marketing dollars go. So then
Yeah.
that way, when all the other stuff I had you break down before, we can break it down even further and say, hey, we know that this is coming from here.
Yeah. That'd be a little harder with someone else answering the phone.
Right. But if we know that from the phone number, then we know where that's coming from.
Right.
Right. We can say, hey,
Yeah.
this here, we can. It takes a little bit of time, but we could break down to the dollar, or we could at least say, hey, this phone number has brought in this amount of money for all these customers.
Yeah.
Because we could download the export them and then all the customers and then match them up on an Excel sheet and pull all that data over. So then that way we could know how much each, if this phone number got this many customers for that.
Is there a system or some kind of app to manage payroll? Like, I don't know
There's
how any of that works.
Yeah, there's a couple. I can't. There's a couple of them out there. QuickBooks does it. I know you can do it through QuickBooks. And then I'm trying to think of the other one. And the good thing about like QuickBooks and a lot of these, they'll make sure that they pay all the taxes for each city that they work in, and they actually pay that city tax. And then some of them you can actually do like benefits, so you can actually give benefits through that company. They can get insurance through that company because and it might cost you, $100 or whatever a paycheck, but then you allow them to have benefits, and then you can do a lot of different things by having it through there. And there's, like I said, I know you can do it through QuickBooks, and there's a big one out there that a lot of people use, but I can't think of the name of it. It's kind of a short word, but I can't think of the name of it.
Hmm.
But yeah,
Now I had all these questions. Go ahead.
The beautiful thing about that is a lot of times you'll say, hey, we work 10 hours, and then they just pull the money, and this is something to think about. A lot of times people think that, I'm going to hire a $15 an hour employee, and that's all it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you more than it. A $15
to $30
is about 20. Yeah, Gusto, that's it. Gusto is the other one. Gusto. I knew I couldn't think of it to save my life, but Billy did it. So Gusto is the other one that I was thinking. But yeah, so you're looking at probably 25 bucks. If you're paying somebody 15 bucks, time you pay payroll taxes and workers comp and all the other crap that goes along with it, you're right about 25 to 30 bucks an hour at that point.
Yeah, that general contractor for UK, I was asking him about that stuff. His guys are making $60 an hour, and he's paying like $130 an hour for those guys.
Yep. Well, and especially if they're union, because then they
are
union
pay all
workers. The union dues, and you got to pay all that. So see, I bid Kings Island for all the Christmas lights, but I knew there was no way I would be able to have the manpower, and so I actually went to the electrical company or the electrical union and got how much it was going to cost me through there. And like you say, there's a lot of built stuff that you got to pay for that. But I knew that's the only way I could get it and not have to worry about employees. So, you got?
I'm going to think of all these questions when we get off here.
That's fine. When I'm hiring employees, what's the number one thing I should look for? This is a good question because a lot of times we think they need to know how to pressure wash, and that's the last thing we need them to know. Do they have a good attitude? Could they go work at Chick-fil-A and do well there, right? Because those are the attitudes we want. And some of it's going to depend on what's their job too, right? Are we hiring an office manager or are we hiring a technician? Are we hiring someone to answer the phone? So there's different positions. And so some things that you can think about doing this is take the DIS assessment. If you've never taken the DIS assessment, it'll tell you kind of what type of person you are and personality. And so there's different personalities. And so depending on what we're doing, if we're hiring an office manager or that type of person, we kind of need that person to be this C, I believe it is, where they are organized and they're kind of the same as an engineer, where we don't need them to be happy-go-lucky and not do anything. So there's different in that DIS assessment that will help you understand where you are in your business, and it also will help you understand how they work and all of that kind of stuff. Any other questions?
They don't have to be. Like I always think of like all these lawn care companies because you see the most of those, and like those people working there, I'm like, ugh. Like I don't want them working for me. Heck no. Like
But a lot
I
of it,
would, but that's my opinion, you know.
right.
But
And a lot of it is, do they show up, right? And are
yeah,
they on
what I'm
time, and
afraid
are
of.
they punctual? Are they, and if they're not, you just get rid of, you get rid of them right away pretty quickly. So,
Yeah, and that goes back to leadership. There's no bad teams, only bad leaders.
and that's 100% right. And this is one thing that I always tell people is to really grow a business, you got to be a good leader. And if you suck at leading, you need to start learning how to be a better leader, because you'll never grow it if you can't lead people. And so, and that's kind of the book that I mentioned in the beginning of this, The Next 5 Moves. He talks a lot about this. He talks about, putting the right people in the right seats. If you have the wrong people on the bus or in the wrong seats, the bus ain't going nowhere at that point. If we got the driver and he's back in the back seat, and the person that's in the back seat should be in the driver's seat, but he don't know how to drive the bus, right? Then we got the wrong people in the bus where we need to put them at. So we got to make sure that you got to be a good leader, because a good leader is what will set you apart and what will grow your business.
Yeah, Donovan was talking about that a
Yep.
couple weeks ago. So
Yep.
that one employee.
Being a good leader is what sets you apart. And finding those people, finding that office manager, finding the right office manager, finding the right person that is answering the phone, finding the right technicians. Not all technicians are going to be amazing managers at the end of the day, or the person there. So it's important that we have good people in there when we're working. Yeah, the cheap yard signs, moneybushes.com, which will take you to UZ Marketing, moneybushes.com. Before we get off here, again, you can text King. That's when I go right now. I'm going live every Sunday night and Wednesday night. I moved it. That Wednesday night might go away. I'm going to try to give more into my mentorship program, and I'm going to give more into my membership. So I don't know if on Wednesday still, but right now it's Wednesday and Sunday. Sunday night will not go away. I always love Sunday night. So you can text whenever I go live, so that way you know when I go live. Again, I am having in-person training. You can go to the in-person training. Nathan's been to 2 of them. Did you learn anything in either one of them?
It's worth it just to get your hands on stuff. If you've never been around any of it, like it's just that's worth it.
Well, not only that, the networking, right? When we came to the Christmas site, who did you get to meet there?
Lots of people, lots of companies. That one dude,
Sam.
You know what? I wasn't a big fan of Sam, but he had good information. But like networking with other company, like the other dudes trying to start and bouncing ideas off of them.
Bradley.
Bradley's cool. Hunter, I forget his last name. Hunter in Atlanta. I like talking to him.
Yeah, the networking is definitely cool when you get to meet other people that are either starting out or growing. So go check out either one of those. Before we get off here, what is one piece of advice you'd give people?
Take action.
You can't get no better than that one, right?
They ain't gonna hand it to you.
I'm going to ask you this question. My daughter was actually asked this question. She's a soccer player, and she's pretty high level soccer player. And the coach asked this question, and I want to see what your answer is, and I'll tell you what her answer was. But what's your definition of success?
Man, I don't know. I had an answer at one point in my life. I got nothing.
All right, so I'm going to tell you what my 14-year-old daughter told her coach of what is success to her. And she didn't say winning. She didn't say moving up, but improving, continually improving. And I couldn't have answered that. I would have probably said something stupid. But how true is it that success is always improving? Would you agree with that?
I would.
Right? Because if we're getting better and then we're improving, that is success. We're never, because you can never make enough money to make you happy. There's not enough money in this world that's going to make you happy. If you are a sourpuss and you hate life and that, I don't care how much money you make, it will not make you happy. But success is always improving. And I like that because, there's things that are very important about that at the end of the day. So,
Yeah. Money isn't everything, and money can't buy you happiness. Can buy you options, but I understand the money can't buy you happiness thing, but you can't do anything in this world without money. You can't do much.
it makes it a
Can't
lot
do much.
easier.
Makes it a lot easier.
Take action. That's right, baby. All right, guys. Hope to see you all on Wednesday. And if you haven't joined King of Marketing or King of Pressure Wash, Monday Night Marketing is every Monday night. We're talking about our good old Google My Business. So hope to see you tomorrow night, and we'll see you all later. Hang on.